You know, it's hard to believe that it's actually been more than a decade since we've had a real Superman film, and I gotta say, after leaving this one, yeah, I think we're off to a pretty good start. Well, what's up again there, guys? Brian here, the Three Topics Gamer, here to share with you my official movie review for James Gunn's latest film and the first film installment in this newer era of the DC cinematic universe that we're sure to get. This one being titled simply Superman. Now, I just got out of the theater less than 20 minutes ago, and overall, I can say that though I had a lot of hesitation going into this film, now having actually seen the film and seeing it in IMAX, I can confirm, at least in my personal opinion, I had a really good time with this film. I really was not expecting it. And heck, I'll even go as far as to say that me personally, I think I ended up enjoying it a bit more than Man of Steel, which is something I really didn't expect. Now, if you do happen to enjoy this review by the end, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, keep track me on my future reviews. Remember, if you guys have any ideas for future videos you'd like me to do for my channel, make sure you let me know what you'd like to see in the comments down below, and I will try to get it up to you as soon as I can. So, James Gunn Superman. Promotion for this has been kind of all over the place. The trailers have been hit and miss for a lot of people, but overall, I think this was a great film. I had a lot of fun, had a lot of major high points. There were a number of concerns that I had about this film going in that didn't turn out to be true. And I think most people are going to enjoy it. And I think the only group that probably will not end up liking this film are perhaps older generation of Superman fans, people who are a bit older, and perhaps a number of like hardcore Snyder fans, because they're still trying to bring back the Snyderverse, and it's officially gone. But I do think comparing this to Man of Steel, I do think that this new era of DC films has had a much stronger start than something like Man of Steel. Now, to go into the cast, I thought that David Cornsweet was really good as Superman. The one thing I wanted to get from his Superman is for him to have his own identity. I did not want to have him feel like prior interpretations of the character. I did not want him to do something like what Brandon Routh did, where he was trying to be like a semi-updated version of the Christopher Reeve Superman. I certainly didn't want him to be like Henry Cavill. He very much embodies his own version of the character, and I do believe that this version of Superman is meant for a much younger generation, but I think in a good way. There were a number of scenes where I think it showed his immaturity on certain topics, and I thought that was actually quite good and made this Superman not necessarily relatable, but it made him fit in the time period that we're currently in. That was something I really did appreciate. I thought a lot of his action scenes were really, really good. I think visually this movie looks very, very well. When it comes to the other cast, I felt like the actress who played Lois Lane had tremendous chemistry with David Cornsweet. A lot of their scenes, and there aren't too many of them, but when they are together, they have every scene they had together was absolutely fantastic. I think the actor, I feel bad that I can't think of his name, who played Lex Luthor, it got a little over the top at times, but maybe that's what they were going for. But I do think Lex, for what they were trying to do with him, is okay. But personally, I think moving forward, I think I would like to see less of him. One major surprise that I was surprised about was the use of the extra members of kind of the Justice Gang, as they call them. This film was not as bloated as I thought, and they got a proper amount of time. They never felt like they were in the film too little or too much. They were really in the film for the right amount of time. But I will say this, Mr. Terrific, the actor who plays Mr. Terrific, easily stole the show for me. I'm so intrigued by Mr. Terrific that I really want to learn more about this character, because he was absolutely incredible. Easily my favorite character in the entire film. I'm not sure if there's enough lore that he could have his own film, but if they do make like a Justice Gang or Justice League movie, I think he's gonna steal a lot of the scenes. Crypto's in this film, not as much as I thought. And he can get annoying at times, but that is dogs in some cases. So I understood him, but they definitely use Crypto effectively for the type of crowd that I think they're trying to draw in, which is a much younger crowd. I think when it comes to James Gunn's films, it definitely has his signature style, which could be a good or bad thing depending on how you view it. The choice of music could be a bit distracting, but that's one of the hallmarks of James Gunn's film, which he's taken definitely that you've seen a lot in a lot of his prior films. But it isn't perfect. I think this film has a bit of a tone issue. At times, the film can go from like a funny tone to something very, very serious. And then they'll throw in like a joke. And I'm like, well, that was kind of the wrong time to tell that kind of joke or to make that kind of statement after just what we had just witnessed. And the film does that happen a couple times. However, I will say this. There is one change in this film, and it is a big change. And I will say this. This is probably the single most insulting change to the Superman lore that I have ever seen in any live action interpretation of the character. I thought this was going to get fixed by the end, but it didn't, and I don't know what to do about it. It really, really pissed me off. Now, I won't spoil it, but if you've seen this film, you know what lore change I'm talking about, and it was so bad. If I could give it a solid comparison, take Batman, and take Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne's murder. What if it was found out that Martha Wayne was going to divorce Thomas Wayne, and Thomas Wayne found out about it, and so their murders was actually staged by Thomas Wayne, and then Thomas Wayne faked his death? Like, something like that stupid and insulting is comparison to what they did in this film. And it was awful. It was so awful my mouth dropped and I was just super pissed off. But luckily, the film was able to bring me back relatively quickly. And the less we talk about that scene moving forward, the better. Overall, I think more people are going to end up enjoying this film than people that are going to dislike it. From what I've seen from the Rotten Tomato ratings, both the critics and the general audience really, really like this film. I think it's going to do fantastic in the box office, and I think that they really need to keep this momentum going. There are a couple cameos of characters throughout the film, and there's one character that kind of pops up at the end. I know some people are not going to like what they did with this certain character, and I'm a little bit hesitant, but with how much I enjoyed this film, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and hope that they don't take it to the levels of extreme that they did with this character by the end in future projects. So overall, if I had to give Superman 2025 a rating, that lore change really pissed me off, but overall, I did end up liking this film. I laughed, I smiled, I had a good time, I had a lot of fun. I would definitely see this again in theaters, even though I paid $25 to see this in IMAX. So I'm gonna give it an A-. I'm gonna give it an A-, but God, that lore change really pissed me off. So that is my review for Superman. If you did happen to enjoy the film, or heck, if you've seen the film, I'd love you to share your thoughts in the comments down below, minus spoilers. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.